Alright, welcome back to the channel guys. Sam Ho here to level up your mindset and help you win in poker and in life. Now, as a poker player, you'll often find yourself facing an all-in bet from your opponent, but you're just holding a marginal hand, so you're not quite sure what to do. Or you could even be the one to decide whether or not to go all in yourself as a bluff. I mean, after all, the key to no limit is to put a man to a decision for all of his chips. So how do we make the right decision? So in this video, I want to share with you my top 5 tips that I use that will help improve your decision making under pressure at the poker table. Now, just before we begin, if you're more interested in poker strategy, then make sure you check out my new poker blog at onechipcall.com, where I discuss hand histories and I offer my thoughts on how I navigate the cash games in London. Let's get started. Tip number 1, listen to your gut. See, poker can be a very analytical game, and although solvers, probabilities, and logical reasoning are all really useful tools that will help you make the right decision, occasionally there is something far more intuitive that you should be using instead to make your decisions at the poker table, and that's your gut feeling. And the reason is because your gut and your instincts can often understand things that your mind just can't seem to make any sense of. And more often than not, your gut feeling is usually right.
And Greg Rammer moves all in.
I gotta go with my gut. Gotta go with my gut. This could be really stupid. I call.
Wow!
You call, you win, buddy.
How do you call that?
Many of us don't listen to our gut feelings, and that's because we either can't seem to be able to justify it within our own minds, or we can see how silly it can seem sometimes that we're making big decisions just because we had a feeling. But just like what Negrani did before he made that big call versus Greg Raymer, don't neglect your gut and go with it. You know, you can often sense what the right decision is before even giving your mind the chance to talk you out of it. If you can learn to trust and use your instincts, then you'll be able to elevate your poker game, stand out from the crowd, and even impress some poker commentators.
Sam, got the Cowboys, pocket kings, and Nicholas, ace-jack suited on the button. Oh, he's found the ace. Sam's going to check call now. Wow, he just passes. Wow. Might have picked up on something from Nicholas, might have a little tell. Most players in this field would probably call.
Class fold.
Yeah.
Class fold.
Tip number 2, have courage. Making big decisions always needs courage, especially when there's a risk of being wrong. In my previous video on patience and discipline, I explained that discipline is being able to do something whether you feel like it or not, while courage is being able to do something whether you're afraid or not. See, often when we're facing big decisions, we know what the right thing to do is, but you still end up copping out and end up choosing the easy or the safe option instead of the right option because we're afraid of being wrong or looking a bit foolish. Right, so let me help you see things differently to help eliminate these fears and build your courage, and share with you a quote from a Tony Robbins book I read called Awaken the Giant Within. So the key message here is that the universal truth on how you achieve success in anything nearly always starts with bad judgment. I've bubbled hundreds of poker tournaments, making stupid errors, and I've made huge mistakes on big final tables that's cost me a lot of money and heartache. And it's because of this that I now feel really comfortable navigating the late stages of poker tournaments and also taking them down. Experiencing bad judgment is an extremely effective way to learn lessons, and unfortunately, it's sometimes the only way to learn. So if you want success, then summon up the courage, be brave, and go for it. Either you're going to be right or you're just going to take steps closer towards success. So either way, you win.
He could rep hearts here. He does rep hearts. Wow. He moves all in.
Surely Isildur call here. This is for the title.
Not want to call, but his gut's telling him. Plays this
Wow! What a goal! That's phenomenal!
Oh my god.
That was a nice one-chip call there by Isildur. So remember, Each time you make that big bluff or big hero call, you are developing your courage and, most importantly, your ability to make big decisions. This is how you train yourself to become that fearless player that everyone would just hate to have on their table. Tip number 3, use your experience. Now, your experience can vary in terms of how effective it can be to help guide you to make better decisions in the future. Now, if we refer back to that book, Awaken the Giant Within, Tony also explains that we learn things far more effectively whenever we attach strong emotions to our learning experiences. Emotions such as pleasure or pain. If we take a very simple example here and think back to our childhood, I'm sure we've all burnt ourselves before touching fire. And now as adults, we've learned not to do that again. And that's just simply because we really ingrained and remember the feeling of pain deep in our memory as kids. And it now serves as a powerful reminder for us to never do that again. So whenever I make good decisions on bluff catching, for example, I give myself massive props for being able to make that call, to condition my mind and really build confidence in my ability to be able to repeat successful decisions. Kind of like what Kenny Tran did at the WSOP back in 2007.
I call.
He called him.
Good call.
World-class call.
I'm the genius! Oh my God! That's got to be the greatest call in poker. How did I call?
I don't know how he made that call.
How did I call that? Am I the best? Say, admit it!
Kind of like that. Now, on the other hand, after 5-bet shoving queens, for example, for 100 bigs in a 50 NL online cash game, and always being shown kings or aces even, and then I just know never to do that again. So here I attach negative emotions to bad decision making, so that each time I get stacked or I lose a lot of chips, I really try to embrace and ingrain the negative feeling within myself of losing my money or playing badly, to train myself not to make the same mistake again. A lot of people would say that you should never mix your emotions with your decision making, saying things like, don't let your emotions cloud your judgment. But for me, I think it's more accurate to say to not let your emotions cause you to make bad decisions, because emotions are extremely powerful and they can either be used for you or against you. So if emotions can be used to benefit decision making, then why not use them? Tip number 4, know your opponent. Good judgment of character is very useful in poker. Being able to figure out what someone's like in terms of how they think and, more importantly, what they're capable of is a massive advantage in the game. Something that I've learned is that someone's personality in real life is usually reflected in the way they play poker. So for example, someone who is intelligent and cunning is someone who can really think through hands and form strategies to deceive his opponents. Someone who is humble in defeat and is able to accept or admit when he's wrong is someone who won't have issues folding when he thinks he's beat. And someone who's responsible with his money is someone who's unlikely to be reckless with his chips and lose them very easily. All traits that I identify with a strong poker player. You'll notice in my blog that I identify who I'm playing against in the hand histories that I discuss. So for example, I'd label them as either a good regular or a recreational player, or even sometimes a calling station. Make assumptions about who you're playing against and always factor it into your decision making. Tip number 5, take pause and think. Now, I've faced big decisions in poker many times, and the thing that I've learned is that every time I've rushed to a decision, or I haven't taken the time to think things through properly, I've nearly always made the wrong decision. Big decisions need time and attention, so give it the respect they deserve. I know this sounds so simple, but trust me, it's so powerful. My final quick tip to you is to try and make a habit of always stopping yourself from acting immediately. Give yourself time and space to think things through before you make your decision. This will also make your decisions appear a lot more deliberate and calculated, and add a lot of gravitas to your presence at the poker table. Here's a quick recap, guys, of my top 5 tips to improve your decision making in poker. Try applying some of these tips in your next poker session. You'll be surprised how much of an impact they'll have to your bottom line. And good luck. So there we have it, guys, my top tips to help you make big decisions the next time you're in a tough spot at the poker table. Now these tips are the accumulation of my years of real experience playing poker for a living, so I certainly hope that you're able to take away something useful to improve your poker game. If you enjoyed the video and would like to see more content on topics like this, then please subscribe and let me know down in the comments below. I read and respond to all my comments. Thanks guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.